Hello, everybody. Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest. Here to react to this story coming out, Ryker. There's Raptors rumors saying that nobody on Toronto is considered untouchable.
No one is safe.
Nobody on the roster. Not OG Anunoby, the young Kawhi. Young Kawhi is not untradeable. Obviously our all-star backcourt. We've already made a video on DeMar DeRozan. He's not untradeable, despite other summers. Maybe not last one, but summers before. Kyle Lowry, our best player in the playoffs, he's untradeable. We got a lot to unpack with this rumor. Even all the young guns we got. Is this surprising to you, hearing news like this?
Well, of course. I mean, they're claiming that they're willing to throw away their core roster, their star players.
Well, maybe not throw away.
No. They're saying that they're open to that.
Yeah.
That's not to say. That's not to
not throwing it away.
Yeah, I'm not commenting on the quality of a trade. I'm saying that they're willing to deal away. That's the more proper term. But how romantic is it? I mean, really. I mean, nobody is safe. Like that's some horror movie stuff. Like you're throwing a bunch of guys into some sort of free for all, Hunger Games. I mean, everybody's going into the off season terrified, working their butts off. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they want out of the franchise or out of the out of the team, out of Toronto. I doubt that, but it's very romantic that we have a pretty good season, regular season wise, finish top seed, get absolutely demolished again. Expected it, right? But to complete, like, the Raptors are the one team that they just cling to their core roster. They've clung to DeMar DeRozan. They are tossing money left, right, and center to Kyle Lowry. They're willing to just keep their guys for anything, and now to just do a complete 180 and say that anybody's on the chopping block that they get a good offer for. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But the one thing that surprised me about this is some of Toronto's young talent. And what are your thoughts on, because nobody's untradeable, even back in the day when we had some decent players, but Brian Colangelo, he's also in the news now, but he always said Terrence Ross and Jonas were never on the trading block. But now I think we have some young players with maybe more potential than Jonas and T. Ross had, like OG. So what are your thoughts on them not saying, like, OG's untouchable? You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's perhaps dumb to call anybody untouchable. I mean, especially a young player, right? Because you don't want to, I mean, you want to make your player confident, but you don't want to make him complacent. I don't think OG has the personality type for that.
That's fair.
Right? But I mean, I think it's a tricky war of words, right? When you start showing all of your cards, right? So I think that there's a strategy here in being a little mysterious on who they're willing to trade, who they're not willing to trade. I mean, I would say that they're probably not going to get rid of OG. I mean, you can chime in 1 second, but I think also what they're trying really hard to do, is take a team that imploded so disastrously in the playoffs due to all of their players, right? We have players that just did not perform well in the playoffs. The bench unit was so good, and then they did not perform in the playoffs. The starting lineup choked in the playoffs. So, I mean, all these players, trade value-wise, went down in stock. So what I think that they're trying to do is spur a little bit of momentum to generate some positive trade negotiations. That's what I would think, the reason that they would state this.
Most definitely. I agree with you 100% there. And it's not even like they were atrocious the whole playoffs, even though we only had 2 series. But the Cavs series just left a bad taste in the whole Raptors franchise mouths. So it wasn't a good look. But maybe a better question was, are there 20 players in the NBA that you'd trade OG for?
Wait, are there 20 players? Why 20 players?
You don't have to name them. But, do you think that there's a possibility that OG could be traded?
Where did 20 come from?
How highly do you value him?
Why'd you say 20?
I don't know. That's a number I had in my head. I was thinking of players that I'd trade OG for.
Is there 20 players that you would trade OG for?
I don't know.
I mean, there's a handful, certainly, but, like, are we talking about reasonable players?
There's a handful.
Like first-year players? Rookies and sophomores?
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I threw that number out there as a number as saying, do you think the Raptors would have a realistic trade for OG? Probably not.
No. I don't know what he's worth, because to me, OG is 100% potential right now. He's only, I mean, maybe he's 20%.
Well,
20%
defensive. He showed a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
You mentioned how a lot of players' stocks went down in the playoffs. I'd argue that OG's went way up. As he kind of fell off at the end of the season, in the playoffs, he was arguably one of our best players.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, the thing that we've been saying all season long for OG is that he's a player that doesn't show up in the box score, right? He does all the little things. I mean, his time will come, certainly, as he grows into his own and gets a bigger role. But this season especially, I mean, it's his only season. So we've been saying that he's doing things that is allowing him to play 30 minutes a game or 25-plus minutes a game. But it doesn't seem like he should if you just looked at the box score. And, I mean, obviously, NBA's teams have great scouts, right? But if they're not watching the Raptors and they're looking just at the numbers, then I don't know how valuable he's worth in somebody else's eyes, right? Somebody who's not watching in depth every game.
Yeah. No, most definitely. And another name that I want to throw out to you, who I've been very high on all season, is Pascal Siakam. Would he be a guy that... Because everyone's talking about Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan. But this article, to me, touches me a little bit because, like, guys like OG, Siakam, the young fellas that have showed so much promise and potential. Do you see any possible way that Siakam could be gone?
Well, I certainly see a way that Siakam could leave because the league has shifted into a small ball league where you need dexterity from your big men, right? And Siakam is that perfect size where he can shift into the center because he's athletic enough and he has enough strength, but he's mobile enough.
An undersized center, very undersized.
And I mean, if you look into the series that's playing, happening right now, right? I mean, you can shift LeBron up to center. I mean, they're not playing any bigger than Kevin Love or Tristan Thompson, who are probably only 6'9", 6'10" most, right? Golden State Warriors, they love. I mean, sometimes they toss Kevin Durant at center, who's like an undersized power forward in terms of strength. I mean, give him credit. He is.
Yeah, and to keep it in the East, to build off your point, Giannis has played center. The Sixers even throw, when Joel Embiid isn't playing, Ben Simmons at point center. So it's definitely, Siakam definitely has that value.
He has worth, yeah.
But how do you value Siakam? How would you value him? Would we need to get a star in return to trade Siakam?
We wouldn't get a star in return. We're not going to get a star in return for any bench player.
Well,
I don't.
Yeah, but if we combined him with DeMar, let's say.
Oh.
Do you think Siakam's a filler piece, or do you look at him as a very promising young player?
Yeah, he's not going to be a standalone trade. He's not going to be a 1-for-1. He's a package. Yeah, he would only be a package deal. But I don't think that there's any player that if we do a DeMar or a Kyle plus Siakam, there's no one player. Because guarantee the Raptors would get fleeced in any deal. I mean, that's just what I believe. Yeah. They do bad trades for the most part. Right?
Well, the Raptors do bad trades.
That's my personal opinion. I mean, Ibaka is pretty good.
Masai Ujiri makes phenomenal trades. I disagree. I can bat you on that. All right, hit me with
a couple of good.
He traded Gravis Vasquez for Norm God and OG Anunoby.
Well, Norm God.
He traded Andrea Bargnani for a first-round pick and two picks and Steve Novak. Andrea Bargnani. He traded Rudy Gay for Vasquez, John Salmons, Chuck Hayes, and Patty P, which turned our season around.
No, that was a fantastic trade. That was a fantastic trade.
Don't question Masai Ujiri's trade.
All right, fair enough.
I'm going at you. I'm going at you.
This is the hypothetical that I see, right? And this is just the hypothetical I see. Listen, it might be completely it's certainly unfounded. I mean, I'm not going off any basis here, but I just feel in my bones if we were to trade away DeMar or Kyle with Siakam, and that's it. That's our part of the deal. Yeah. We're only getting one player back, all right? Because I feel like we're pushing for a big player. Mm-hmm. That's it, right? Just one player.
Yeah.
There's no one player in the league that I would want to get rid of those two players for.
Yeah, see, you're on my side of things. I was questioning if you think Siakam is valued as a solid second piece in a trade, but I wouldn't look at, because Siakam has that potential. I wouldn't just throw him in a deal, if that makes sense, because we will get fleeced, and it's tough because the players' stocks are so low, and I don't think Masai Ujiri is gonna do anything dumb though. So it's very interesting to see. Anything could happen, but I think they're throwing out these rumors to really get some momentum going and see if they can get any offers.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. And I mean, we've tossed around trades already. Like DeMarcus Cousins would be fantastic. Yeah. I mean,
Well, he's a free agent.
Oh, he's just
he'll
to
just
pick
come
him up and sign him. Okay, so we need to trade away for cap space then.
Yeah, gotcha. Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if just to end off the pod, what's one player do you think that you could see most likely seen getting traded from the Raptors?
I don't know. I'll throw it back to you, man. Who do you think? And I'll just say if I agree or not.
I don't know. If I had to name a player, it's probably Jonas, because he has a big contract and we're going to try and re-sign Norm, but he also has value. So he'd be the guy that I'd say is most likely to get traded.
I agree. I don't think he would get traded for a lot just because of the conversation we just had about centers. But I certainly think that he's I just don't know how much the Raptors really respect Jonas. And that's a different conversation.
Yeah, especially in the past. He's gotten a lot better this year. We'd probably have to do a whole video on Jonas himself. But we're very high on Jonas right now, I believe, despite at the beginning of the season where complete flip-flop ever since he started shooting threes. But we wonder what the rest of the league thinks. Wonder what you guys think. Let us know in the comments. Follow us on the Twitter, the Instagram. We got a revamped social media. We're going crazy on those platforms now. So check all that cool stuff out. You guys are the best. Keep coming in. Subscribe to Raptors Digest. Any last words, Ryker?
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Thanks for listening.